I'm going to read from an essay I've been writing this week. It's called Crossing Days. I think the only context you need to know is that this piece moves between Asia and America, or places in Asia and America, back and forth. I'm only going to read the American sections, and those take place in Tucson, Arizona. Crossing Days. On election night, I drive to a friend's apartment to watch the results roll in. Someone brings a pizza. A pot full of artichokes steams forgotten on the stovetop all night. After Pennsylvania goes red, we eat a handful of shrooms apiece. The half-serious idea in our heads is that induced surrealness might cancel out whatever political reality is forming in the room tonight. We will eat our drugs and our food, turn off the TV, drift untethered in history for a time. Michelle and I go downtown to stand under the crane. Trellised in Christmas lights, the crane rises up above the 24-hour cafe where we meet every night to write. The cafe below the crane is cooperatively owned and serves cheap coffee, a place we run to when we want to create escape hatches for ourselves on the page. Outside the cafe, a pickup truck drives past full of white boys crying sweet victory and waving the American flag. We look up at the crane and discuss spiriting up its metal lattice, what it'd be like to look down at our bodies from above our own bodies. In the morning, after what has happened, I return to my apartment and disengage from all my screens. I lie in bed trying to remember what it felt like, crossing the street to my polling location yesterday, how hopeful I was then that a crossing could be made and that it would be a safe one, how easily I stepped, not even looking, into the crosswalk. Before I moved here, I didn't think too much about the city's location near the border, didn't take seriously the way this city is a passageway for many people. I didn't think about this because I didn't want to. Like many second-gen Chinese kids, I wanted to imagine my American life as the product of someone else's difficult crossing, not that crossing's attenuation. My parents had left a homeland so that I wouldn't have to. They crossed an ocean so I could be rooted here on that ocean's other side, or so the story goes. For a week after the election, everyone I care about in my city looks shell-shocked or livid or both. To keep myself from sliding too quickly into a false state of normalcy or resignation, I start journaling from my bed. The entries quickly turn into litanies. That time, I asked my friend if she wants to go with me to a group discussion in potluck. Liberal circle jerk, she texts back, but there's food, I respond. That time, I tap my way onto Grindr, thinking all these torsos probably need comfort tonight. That time, the red-headed woman at the bar keeps saying, I believe in crystals, I believe in metaphysics, I believe in reincarnation, I believe. That time, people on my phone are recommending we revisit Harry Potter or sign all the petitions or do our best to escape our echoes, which are chambered like atria and ventricles in the heart. That time at the Global Justice Center when I think an asymptote might arise, a protective barrier buttressed by what I want to call decency or common sense, but no is closer to a blind and shoddy faith. That time the man in a cowboy hat says to his girlfriend on the street as I walk by with the man I'm seeing, oh look, white and yellow. That time I spit in 3 different vials so a social scientist studying elections can assess voters' stress levels, my compensation, $50, and the regurgitation of a feeling. That time I knock on Michelle's door to catch a smoke and she's crying in the middle of the day, so I stand with her and cry too, and then we step outside for our smoke. That time, I consider buying a book about white fragility to educate myself, but end up with a little jar of hair product, which works well and smells nice, because I'm told self-care is important right now. Michelle and I want to go out dancing, so I put on very short shorts, a denim blazer, and a pair of leather sandals my ankles keep slipping out of. We take acid and go from one club to the next, arms linked, our undercut hairdos facing each other scalp to scalp. On 4th, a man calls out, "Look, Chinese takeout." "Excuse me," I say, turning around to face him. The sidewalk looks bright to my dilated eyes, a stroke of garish orange I share with the man in his spiky hair, his clotted cream complexion. He is a part of this trip, but also outside of it, a menacing, arbitrary power. The man places his hand on my shoulder as if to placate me, then asks if I'm offended. Yes, I tell him. He asks me why. Am I not Chinese? Before I can answer, the man's anger derails the exchange. He feels very inconvenienced. After all, he's sure he's loved drunker words at other bodies in the past and never had to extend his script. It's maddening to him, the fact that we're still standing here having a conversation. He starts pushing his face closer to mine, almost like he wants to kiss me. I cave backwards against the wall. He asks me repeatedly, "What are you? What are you? What are you?" My mouth is open, but men like this always answer their own questions. "You look like a queer fuck to me," he says, mumbling and then louder, pressing his body against mine. I realize that this man is coming on to me in a way that he called out in the night because he wanted something from me, a look or a cry or a whimper. The man desires me or something I can provide, like I am the white box from which a Chinese content might spill, a meal prepared to tremble in his mouth. So we make a break for it. We cross the street, running, as the man stays on his side, yelling after us that the queer fuck bar is back the way we came. It's so clear for a second how things lie between the man, his country, and us. Without thinking, we walk toward our crane, which even after Christmas is electric, a bridge of light splitting the void. It is so beautiful, a cure almost for the man on the other side of the street. We do not think then of consequences or causes, of how that crane is there not just to please us, but to build a brand name hotel, and then after we leave this city, as we know we will, the crane will go down and the hotel will go up, casting its long shadow on the street, shuttering the cafe where we have met to write down all our stories, coloring in all the garden plots and polishing even the curves, scattering whatever it was people made together in this place. But no, right now we live in a sequence of unimpeachable moments. We live in that time when no asymptote comes, so still we cross the blue light of the club. That time in the parking lot when a train painted with the words China Shipping Company is passing, ticking its boxes, I'm sure, for the coast. These boxes I want to climb back into, Tucson to LA, LA to Shanghai, the dream of a further asymptote. What are you? The man asks. What I am is gone.